As with the last modules, I want to discuss some of the mistakes and myths that people have when it comes to on-page and on-site optimization. First, let's discuss meta keywords. Just about any blog post on optimization starts right here, and it is helpful to know that meta keywords are dead and should not be used. Meta keywords are found in the metadata of the header and in times past were put there to help search engines discover what the site was all about. However, these days the search engines do quite well determining this topic without meta keywords. Unfortunately, you will see that many sites to this day still use meta keywords. They don't help, and rumor has it that Bing uses them to determine whether your site is spam. So best practice is to avoid them. Yet one area that metadata does matter is the meta description. This is the information that appears in search results as the snippet description of the website. So it is definitely important to use it correctly. I'll talk about how to optimize meta descriptions shortly, but you should note that Google only shows 155 characters in the results and Bing only displays 165 characters. Currently, HerbalDoc has 148 characters, which you can see shows the entire meta description in both Google and Bing. As smart as search engines are, they are still simply machines. Sometimes search bots have difficulties deciding what keyword best matches your page. So to overcome this, they crawl through everything looking for more clues. They look for additional clues like the HTML tags of pages or meta descriptions or anything that will help. However, if two pages have the same clues, such as a duplicate title or a duplicate meta description, they really aren't much of a clue for the search bot. For this reason, search engines consider duplicate title tags and meta descriptions as bad form and can actually penalize a page. While creating unique title tags, keep in mind that currently Google allows 62 characters for the title and Bing allows 57 characters. And just like the meta description, if it's too long, it will get truncated. Also, I have personally found that shorter titles have higher click-through rates in the search engine results. I chalk up this phenomenon to the fact that everyone else is trying to get as many keywords into their title tag, and therefore my short titles seem to stick out. This actually brings me to the next common mistake websites make. In all fairness, having keywords in your page title tag have only recently become a problem, and in some circumstances may not always be an issue. Many people today do not realize that adding keywords to your title tag can actually hurt them in search engines. Early in 2012, Google created a penalty that they termed Penguin. The Penguin penalty focused heavily on websites over-optimizing for search engines. So websites that had their keyword in the title tag, URL, meta description, and content often got caught by Penguin. This was a direct departure from traditional SEO. Interesting enough, this penalty is heavily weighted against the title tag. For example, Pluralsight ranks number 1 for the keyword Developer Training Online. As you can see here, I have highlighted where this exact keyword shows up. The keyword Developer Training Online isn't found in any of the results title tags or meta descriptions. There are fragments of the keyword, but not an exact match. In fact, the exact keyword doesn't show up in the search index until position number 62. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. A shorter version of that keyword is developer training, which Pluralsight again is number 1. Here you see that Pluralsight has the exact keyword in their title, but you will notice that it's not in their meta description. In fact, only 1 out of the top 10 results actually have the exact match keyword in both their title tag and their description. From personal experience, I suspect that this result won't last long on the first page. If you test these same keywords in Bing, you will see that Microsoft is even more hardcore about this rule. Here you see only 1 result showing developer training on the first page. Interestingly enough, if you go to the second page of Bing, you will find that the exact match keyword shows up 13 times in 12 results. I've tested this on multiple keywords and industries in Bing, and the results are almost always the same. Exact keyword matches don't do well on the first page, but are found in abundance on the second page and beyond. I believe that Bing does this in order to have the second page be more relevant, in case the first page doesn't have the results the user is looking for. So for best practices with your title tags and meta descriptions is to use variations of the keywords you are targeting and not the exact match. However, a best practice is to write the title and description for the user and not the bot. As mentioned earlier, I've found my titles get more clicks because they are short and to the point. Users don't want to read a list of keywords. Next comes the problems that search engines have with Flash and JavaScript. Let's first tackle Flash. Ask just about any individual who does SEO, and he or she will tell you that they hate optimizing Flash. Yes, it is possible, but it is really a pain. Here are some reasons to not even consider adding Flash to your website. First, iOS, which runs iPods, iPhones, iPads, and Macs, will not even display Flash. So even though you optimize your site for Flash, if they are on an iOS device, they won't see anything. This is a big deal when you learn that 13% of the global internet traffic comes through mobile devices and that iOS owns 61% of this traffic. Second, even though Google states it can crawl Flash, it doesn't want to. In the help section of Google's Webmaster Tools, you will read, quote, "We recommend that you use rich media technologies like Flash primarily for decorative purposes, and instead use HTML for content and navigation," unquote. Avoiding using Flash on content and navigation doesn't leave much else. And in the case of Bing, it is worse, since they outright state in their Webmaster Guidelines that they can't crawl Flash or JavaScript. So that's why, if you are serious about SEO, it's important to not even use Flash. Trust me, it will make your life much easier. Now, JavaScript is somewhat a different beast. As the last quote stated, Bing doesn't care for it. What both Bing and Google don't like is when JavaScript is pulling data from a database dynamically. A search bot is not a real user, and therefore in many ways it is handicapped. The biggest handicap a bot has is that it won't crawl what is not directly on the page. Now, even if both Google and Bing can crawl the page, you'll run into another issue that does affect SEO, and that is speed. In most instances, JavaScript will add time to your page downloading. Many sites defer or add their JavaScript at the end of their HTML pages. So to the user, it looks like the page has completely been parsed, but in the background, the script is still being executed. However, just because the web page is visible doesn't mean it is easy to interact with, which gives a poor user experience, and I've found that the bounce rate on my sites go higher and higher with every second that a page has to entirely be downloaded, not just be seen. The final SEO myth is about bolding keywords. This is a misnomer that just won't die, and there are still many people who believe that if you use the HTML strong tag over the B tag, that Google will give a slight edge to your optimization. Here's a link to a video from Google explaining that this is not true, and you will also see why, from their answer, this myth still persists today. Another SEO practice that was similar to the strong tag that no longer works is using keywords in the H1 tags. Rand Fishkin, the owner of SEO Moz, did an in-depth research that found that keywords in the H1 tag no longer worked. I have also tested this hypothesis and have come to a similar conclusion. I still recommend using H1 tags to have a strong user experience, but to not worry about it when it comes to SEO. These are some of the top myths, misnomers, and mistakes that are around optimizing the guts of a website. Obviously, there are many more, and also what once was gospel SEO truth a few years ago no longer helps. So it's advisable in always testing each SEO principle or following trustworthy SEO blogs who keep up on the industry and the persistent changes in SEO.